Welcome everybody, I'm Joshino and today I'm going to be talking about Unreal Tournament, the game which is currently being developed based on the Unreal Engine 4. And guess what, it's absolutely and utterly ruddy free to play right now. I'll go ahead and link the game page below where you can download the game, and I'll say it now that it is in an alpha state, but the gameplay elements of the game are very much there, in that there's team deathmatch, capture the flag, duel, and there's lots of weapons in. Basically most of the classic weapons are in, like the rocket launcher, link gun, you name it. Most of the weapons from the old Unreal Tournament games are there. There's only currently one player model, and as I stated, there's basically one map that is completely modelled and looks up to date, or nearly completely modelled, and that map does look absolutely and utterly fantastic, and you'll see it in the gameplay in the background right now. It's the white map, and then there's several other maps which are not quite textured yet, but you can see the sort of idea of the level design, and I'm not 100% sure if they match up with the old Unreal Tournaments, because I haven't seen things like opposing faces, I think it's called, where there's two massive pyramids. I really want that map in. But anyway, it's completely free to play, and I think their catch is quite a good one, in that it's like Dota 2 and Planetside 2 to some extent, in that they want to make it so that community content like skins and textures and things like that, and perhaps maps, but I'm not 100% sure on the maps, will be paid for by the players if they basically want to invest in the game, and then the rest of the game, the base game, is completely free. At the moment you can just jump in and have a lot of fun. It is perfectly playable, but it doesn't look amazing. The guns all look good, and then that one map, I think it's Outpost, looks fantastic, and it even has a little bit of an impact on my gaming rig, which is quite high end. So it's the first time for a while that I think I've had a bit of strain on my gaming rig, but also I think that could be optimization, but we'll just see. But the map does look amazing. So they're not just relying on developers from outside in the community for textures and things, they're also looking at map designers. And if anyone's played the old Unreal Tournaments, they often had community maps released. Even in Unreal Tournament 3 they had a whole disc released with the Game of the Year edition, which had community maps in it. Anyway, some of the best ones picked out from the community, or the most played. And modding Unreal Tournament from Unreal Tournament 2003 to present, and probably before that, was a big thing, and there were lots of maps. I can remember playing a very fun D-Day map in Unreal Tournament 2003, and there were lots of maps. And I think in my Unreal Tournament 2004 game I've still got Benders, and I've got a Tifa from Final Fantasy as my characters in the game. I've always thought this is a good idea and a good step for how you get the modders to make money by getting some sort of revenue from their work. And at the end of the day, making the game this way free to play, like Dota 2, has little to no impact on the gameplay. I mean, even I'm a bit of a trap to getting skins and things. I think I've probably paid enough for a full game by just buying skins, and they really don't affect the game, but it's nice to look cool. So at the moment there are actually only 2 default skins for the player, and I'll just highlight this player selection screen. I think this is where most of the shop stuff is going to go, with the skins and the weapon textures and things like that. But I'm not too sure. But at the moment there's only one, there's like a selection of 3 hats, and not much else in the customization area. In the core gameplay it pretty much plays like all the other Unreal Tournaments, but they've added wall jumping, which I don't think was in Unreal Tournament 3, and certainly I don't think it was in Unreal Tournament 2004, but then maybe that's just because I wasn't a good player back then. But which is more like Quake games, or something like Sauerbraten and other games like that. So it has wall jumping and dodging from side to side, or double tapping forwards, and also has different sorts of items. It actually has jump boots, which I don't think was in the old Unreal Tournaments, but are quite an interesting addition to the maps. And the maps that they have so far are actually very vertical, and there's a lot of levels to the maps, and the way they intersect and all the items are laid out are sort of in like on ledges and things that you have to be able to pull these tricks off to get to, which I think is quite interesting. And there is a tutorial to try and learn all these tricks, but the tutorial is very bare bones at the moment. I don't know whether they'll keep this, because at the end of the day it is functional, but it looks a bit rough around the edges. If anyone's played texture maps on CSGO or Counter-Strike Source, that's basically what this looks like. They look like the grey textures from that game. Anyway, this is, I guess, one of the big showcases of the Unreal Engine 4, but loads of games are going to be using this new engine. I even noticed on the list of games that were coming out in the Unreal Engine 4, Kingdom Hearts 3 is coming out on it, which is quite an odd game to be on the Unreal Engine platform. Also, I might talk about this in another video in more depth, but the Unreal Engine 4 now is completely free to developers, and basically you get up to $3,000 revenue before you have to start paying 5% royalty, which is an amazing deal for indie developers and especially good for the smaller game developers. And I think that, just like the Unreal Engine 3, we'll be seeing lots and lots of games using this engine. And, well, so far it looks very nice, and I hope to see the rest of the constraints of the engine and how it can perform and match up in the next generation of games. And I haven't really noticed too much, like the physics and how the engine differs on that side in the game, but the weapons look very nice and the graphics in Outpost look very good and look next generation. But I don't know how much of a leap it is from the old generation to the new generation. Unreal Tournament 3 doesn't look great now, but at the time that looked amazing. Anyway, I'd strongly advocate playing this game. It is really fun. Well, it's just the Unreal Tournament experience really, and the base game's there and it's free, so why wouldn't you give it a go? And you can come play with me. I will say that the multiplayer matchmaking seems a bit rough, but if you click on search, look for servers, and then you click on all matches and all community matches, you can actually go through a server browser and pick a server, which is a lot easier. I'll also say that Team Deathmatch servers seem to have clans on them, which seem to be very good at the game, whereas if you go on a deathmatch server, the level of skill seems to be lower. But maybe this is just from the few games I've played. Anyway, it'll be interesting to see what an open source game is capable of as well, not just in the way that it's a free-to-play game, it's also open source and that they're letting anybody help develop it. And I wonder what anybody that inputs code and things will get in return, and not just the texture designs and things like that. But we'll see in the future, and I'm not sure how maps are going to work. I don't know if they'll release map packs for money, but that might be an interesting way of monetizing it. And to be honest, this game is probably going to be worth money, so when you have the free-to-play element, it is really free-to-play. There's got to be some way to make money. Anyway, thank you very much for watching, everybody. If you want to see and hear more of me, be sure to subscribe. Please comment, they're very appreciated, and like, and, you know, the jazz, if you're happy to. Until next time, everybody, Joshino.